Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today I have 5 tips to help you improve your terraforming skills in Minecraft. So without further ado, let's jump into number 1. So tip number 1 is just to tidy up the area. Oftentimes in Minecraft you may find you have some water pockets like this, or holes, some floating blocks and things that just look out of place. So the first tip is yet to fill in all these holes like this and really take away any blocks that are out of place, and definitely the floating ones as well. This gives us a blank canvas to work with and helps us to see how exactly we're going to build up our structures or terraform the land to make it look a little bit more interesting. Tip number 2, adding in shape. Now you may have long straight lines like this running through your terrain, and this is what we want to avoid. So by simply taking away some of the edges like this, and breaking away the corners especially, and giving that bit more shape to the grass and the surrounding areas, adding in some more extra layers like this, taking away these edges like here, and that gives a better shape and more natural look to it. And the further down you go, the more you want to extend out the levels. So here we have 3. If I was building another layer on top of here, I would probably do it something like this, coming in like so, and then it gets a little bit shorter, and then once again on top of that you maybe break it down to get to 1 block, and there you see we have a nicer looking shape to our hill here that we are constructing. But yet adding in this kind of shape gives a lot more interest and look a lot more natural. We want to avoid very straight lines, and this depends on the scale of your build. Anything that looks too straight, adding in some angles and corners really does help that out. And yeah, that is how we're going to shape out our land in order to terraform. Tip number 3 is to add in some texture. Now if we are taking our grassy hill here, we can do that by using some coarse dirt and some green concrete powder, and mixing this in just like this gives a little bit more of a natural feel. Maybe not go too much, but just in the edges and corners where you think it would look like it was a little bit more worn out, adding in some coarse dirt works out fine. And green concrete powder is a nice substitute for grass, as it is a little bit of a different texture, or different colour I should say. Depending on what biome you're in, obviously the grass is slightly different, but I think it works for most cases. So mixing in these 2 blocks really does give a nice bit of texture to a hill of your building terraforming. And obviously with the new snapshot we're going to get moss blocks, which will also work very well for this as well. Tip number 4 is to add in the details. Now this is where it starts to get a little bit more fun and creative. We can use things like stone to add in little rocky areas like this, and even cobblestone as well, mixing that in and give a nice little bit of texture and details to the build. Depending on what it is, obviously we can use different amounts of this and things, but something like this placed around does give a nice effect for terraforming. Then once you've placed in the rocks, we can also think about things like other natural details, something like a river. So what we can do maybe is cut out a space down here and we'll create a river. So maybe we want to line that with some stone as well, like so. Maybe add in some cobblestone here and there, a little bit of a raised up area. Replace these, and then we want to, let's say, line it with some stone and cobblestone mix, then also some coarse dirt. Then obviously we take our water and we can fill in this, and this can be a little man-made river or pond area. And yet we could also, if we wanted to, bring it down and have the river actually run down the side of our hill here that we've created. And yet something like that, and we see obviously we could spend a lot more time working on this, but adding in a nice little river through here adds so much interest to that piece of land now, and it's not just a regular grassy hill. We have some river and a little bit of a story of nature flowing through it. And the final tip, number 5, is to add in all that extra bit of nature and greenery that this is missing. So we do this by adding in some leaves. We create our own little bushes like so everywhere around, We can also add in some trees, place one there. You can build custom trees as well, it would even look better, but even some Minecraft trees will do the trick if you have a large area that you need to terraform. And once again, we see the drastic difference. Maybe we'll add some berry bush plants here as well, adding in a little bit more colour. Then we can come in just with bone meal as well, getting some natural grass and flowers to the area. This little hill has been terraformed and it looks completely different on how we started. We have added in the shape, we have added in the texture, a little river and some rocks, we have added in the leaves, trees and flowers and things, and it's looking a lot better. And with that guys, we are at the end of the video. I do hope you enjoyed. I hope that you learnt something today and that you are now able to terraform around the bases and builds you may have in your world. So if you liked the video, be sure, go down, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and until the next one, bye bye.